For some reason, defensive production in college never really seems to translate to the NFL as much as offensive production does. Especially when you have off-the-field issues, that will not help your career much either, and today we'll talk about a tragic football story. The subject of today's video led the entire country in tackles his final season of college football, but his time in the NFL has been anything but successful, and he fell victim to a situation that a lot of athletes are tempted with. Meet Kentrell Brothers, the former Missouri Tiger linebacker who led the country in tackles but has been plagued with nothing but off-the-field issues and on-field struggles since he got to the NFL. Today we're going to talk about his rise, his time in college, and what happened to his once promising football career. I'm not honestly expecting this video to do that well, but it's a test to see if more videos like this will do well in the future, so please be sure to show your support by giving the video a like, subscribing if you're new, suggesting another topic, and staying until the end. Now let's get started and talk about what happened to Kentrell Brothers. Kentrell was born and raised in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and became a star on both sides of the ball when he was in high school. He played wide receiver and linebacker and was always one step ahead of all the other guys on the field. He only had a few offers though, but after he torched a couple of big-time offensive lineman commits, he started to blow up, but his in-state favorite school, Oklahoma, did not offer him. Mark Stoops had tossed the idea around, but nothing ever happened for Kentrell, but Mizzou did see him and offer him. Josh Henson saw a player who was ahead of his time and would become a college football superstar down the road, and that is honestly exactly what would happen. According to 24/7 Sports, he was a 3-star recruit, the number 48 linebacker, and the 602nd best player in the class of 2011. He came into Mizzou with a lot of expectations, and he delivered. He had redshirted his freshman year, but played a ton his first year and recorded 14 tackles as a redshirt freshman. As a sophomore, he became a starter on one of the best teams in the nation, as Mizzou was one win away from the national title game, and their defense was one of the best units in the country. He finished with 40 tackles on the year and showed his talent and potential. In 2014, Mizzou won 11 games once again, and he led the team in tackles with 121, and he was seen as a player who could blossom into a superstar as a senior. Mizzou struggled in 2015, but they did have a great defense, and he was the most important player on the team. He made game-stealing interceptions, plays that made you say wow, and became arguably the most impactful defensive player in 2015 based on statistics. He led the entire country with 152 tackles and became a second-team All-American and a first-team All-SEC selection. He was not the fastest or tallest linebacker, but he made plays and was the kind of guy who was supposed to translate to the NFL with hard work and good instincts. Unfortunately, he performed terribly at the Combine, so he fell all the way to the 5th round, where he was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings with the 160th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft. As a rookie, he spent all his time as a special teams player and was one of the highest graded special teams player in the NFL. But he was not much of a factor on the field besides that. He played in 16 games his second year, but only had 13 tackles. To start 2018, he did not get off on a good foot as he was banned 4 games for using performance-enhancing drugs, and this was a major stain on his record and made his leash even shorter. In 2019, he'd get his first career NFL sack, but he had never started a game, and he was released by the Vikings because he just didn't pan out. Also, going into 2020, things got even worse as he was once again caught using performance-enhancing drugs, and he was suspended the first 9 games of the NFL season and would never end up landing with an NFL team. So Kentrell Brothers' career is likely over, so what went wrong? Well, it's pretty obvious what happened. He was never as athletic as some of the other guys on the team, so he probably honestly got desperate and turned to performance-enhancing drugs to try and close the gap between the athleticism of other players and get on the field more. Since he was shorter and not as athletic as the other guys, he just couldn't make it work on the field and in the NFL, and sadly, it all spiraled out of control when things got desperate. He led the country in tackles in 2015, so clearly he was smart and a talented player, but to make it in the NFL, you have to be an elite-level athlete, which he never seemingly had. We see stories like this all the time, and it's sad it happened to one of my favorite players. I hope the best for Kentrell moving forwards, but I think his NFL career is probably over. What is your stance on the performance-enhancing drugs debate, and what do you think of today's video? Should I do more videos like this? Name another player who had some off-the-field issues in the NFL, and also before you go, be sure to subscribe and give the video a like. If you're still here, check out all my Missouri Tigers related videos and all my What Happened To videos as well, and I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.